In this video, I want to talk about something that I have done for years, which is pour Mountain Dew on a bleeding bass. I'm gonna pour a little Mountain Dew on him. That really helps to kind of stop the blood. So I know this isn't a tournament, but still want to keep them from bleeding if I can. I know that for me, there have been several different occasions out there where I have done this, and I truly believe like I have saved a fish. And with that being said, there is some scientific research out there that really might kind of point in the opposite direction. So in this video, I want to talk about that. Now, before we get into it, this video is brought to you by my apparel company, Fin Fishing. I'm really proud, guys, of the new pair of shorts that I just brought to market. These are the duck shorts. They are stretchy, lightweight, and they are a water-resistant material. These things, to me, are awesome. Like, spent a number of years developing them. I wear them all the time. They are super comfortable, and I'm just really proud of them. And right now they are not only in stock, but they are on sale on the website. So I'm gonna leave some links down below in the description. I do want to say thank you to all of you who have shopped at Fin Fishing. I also just want you guys to know that if you don't shop at Fin Fishing, I am completely fine with that. I don't want you to feel obligated to shop there. I have a ton of people that just watch, obviously, this channel and BassFishingHQ. I have had people reach out in the past that say, hey, how can we support this further? And one of the best ways is to shop at Fin Fishing. But if you don't, it's 100% okay with me. I do appreciate just you guys watching. All right, let's talk about Mountain Dew and bleeding fish, bleeding bass. Now, like I said, this is something I've done for a number of years. I honestly, I make it a point. Like when I go to the lake, when I go to the gas station in the morning, which if you're a fisherman, you just go to the gas station, even if you don't even need anything. It's just something that we do. I make it a point to go into the cooler section and grab a Mountain Dew. And it's not for me. I always grab it for a fish in case a fish bleeds. Now, there's been a lot of times where I end up drinking that Mountain Dew, but anyways, I always have one with me, especially in like a tournament situation. But even when I'm out there fun fishing, I don't like to kill fish. So if fish are bleeding, I pour Mountain Dew on them. Like you see me do this. I've done it a lot over on BassFishingHQ. And I always have a couple of comments of guys saying like, hey man, you know, you should look at your research a little bit more because it shows that Mountain Dew actually doesn't do anything for fish. So I finally decided to do that. You know, like I listened to the guys that were commenting on those videos and decided to do that. And so anyways, long story short, a number of years ago, there was a study done to try to see if they could validate whether putting soda or pop or whatever it may be, carbonated lake water on fish would actually help them. And so basically what they did is they caught a bunch of northern pike. It says that they caught them with hook and line. And basically what they did is they took all these northern pike and they injured their gill in a way that they would start bleeding. Now, I didn't exactly say how they injured it, but they did it in the exact same way to all of these pike. And now they had the pike in two different groups. They had a group of pike over here, a test group that they then took those injured pike and they poured Mountain Dew on some, they poured Coca-Cola on some, and they poured carbonated lake water on others. And then they took their other test group that they also injured their injured their gill, and they didn't do anything to them. That was kind of to kind of compare the results, because obviously if you had, I don't know how many, but say they did this to 10 fish in one group, if 8 of them survived and the ones over here in the group that they didn't do anything to with Mountain Dew and Coke, if 10 of them died, then obviously there would be proof that this is effective. And long story short, they looked at the amount of blood each pike kind of bled out with doing this to the pike. They also looked at the color of the gill itself, and they basically found that there was no difference. There was no difference in pouring Mountain Dew or Coke on a fish versus the fish that they didn't do anything to. And they held these fish in an area where they could look over them. So with all that being said, does that mean that I am wrong about pouring Mountain Dew on a bass? I guess you could probably say yes. Like, I'm a guy who, I like math and I like science. I like data. Like, I've done a lot of different study videos because I love those videos. And I've seen guys that, even in the bass fishing realm, that are like, don't look at the data, even though that never makes sense to me, because if there's data out there, why wouldn't we believe it, you know? And so anyways, I guess you could say that I am wrong by pouring Mountain Dew on bass. Now, the one thing that I did have a question about when it came to all this is, does it matter that they did this to pike versus bass? Because obviously I catch bass, and I've caught a lot of pike, but it's never intentionally, it's always wild bass fishing. Is there a difference in their gills? Now, I know that like all fish and gills are meant to do the same thing, right? They all are collecting oxygen basically for those fish. But I do know that a pike's gill, like its size, it's different. I know pike's gills tend to have bigger like rakers on them as well. So does that stuff make a difference in comparison to bass? And I couldn't find a study where they did this on bass. Maybe I overlooked one or missed one. So if you guys have heard of one, please let me know down below in the comments. But I do wonder if there is any difference. More than likely, probably not. But they did take one species of fish and do this to, and then they applied their science basically to all fish species. So I am curious to know if there would be any difference with bass. That's my biggest question, and that's my only question. But does that mean that I'm personally going to stop pouring Mountain Dew on bass? I don't really know yet. Like, it's been such a process for me for so many years, where I go to the store, I buy a Mountain Dew. If I catch a fish that's bleeding, I pour it on them, because I have like, this is the one thing I don't understand about the study, but I'm just gonna, hey, if the scientists and researchers did this and they can prove it, then I should listen to it. But I have visibly seen where a bass is gushing blood, you pour Mountain Dew on it, and the blood stops. So I don't know. That to me, I guess you can say I'm curious about. I would love to have been there when they did this study, but I don't know. Anyways, apparently it doesn't work. Have I been wrong? I can definitely tell you I've been wrong about it, like according to the science. Am I gonna stop? Ooh, I don't know about that one. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow.